Hello and welcome to Future Simple Friday Live, episode 20. It is International Women's Day today, and so we are at City Chambers for the Business Gateway International Women's Day celebration event. We're going to do things slightly differently today. I am going to be running around and seeing how many amazing women I can get on the show today. We have our trusty question cards hidden away in my back pocket, and we'll be seeing how many people we can get to answer a question or two each and hearing about some amazing businesses. So it will be a bit chop and change today, but it will be really interesting to hear more about some of the fantastic women and businesses that we have in Scotland at the moment. Okay, so my first pinch of the day is Katie Goudie, who runs the Whin. She also helps out with digital marketing, so this is a bit of a, the pack up my back, she looks nice. So tell everyone a bit about your business, and what your aims are, what you want to do.
Okay, cool. So I train small business owners to do their own digital marketing. I have a training program that's all online that business owners can come and join in with. And I also deliver workshops with Business Gateway on various different digital topics, how to do different kind of social media platforms, Google Analytics, all those different good things.
So what does we're here on International Business Women's Day. Business Women's Day, I'm just going to rename it.
It could be, yeah.
It's International Women's Day, but we're talking about business women. Yeah. So what does it mean for you?
I think it's a really good chance to reflect on the women who we're inspired by, and the women. I love watching documentaries, reading books, biographies about women who have worked really hard and become really successful in their careers. I always find it really inspiring, and it's a good reminder that I need to also work really hard to achieve lots of things in my career. So I was at the Business Women Scotland Roadshow last week, and one of the speakers said something. She was quoting somebody, but I'm not sure who, so I feel bad about not being able to attribute the quote properly. But she said, "Hell on earth is meeting the women you could have been." And whenever, I'm not much of a person for motivational quotes, mostly they don't resonate, but that one I found like, oh, that would kill me.
That does resonate, but at the same time, do you not think that we will always say that to ourselves? Like, oh, where could I have been if I'd have just done that?
Possibly.
I feel like I always do that. So I often look at people that, because a part of the accelerator, there's so many younger women that are starting, that are like just out of uni starting a business. And I'm like, God, I wish I'd done that. What could I have been now if I had done that?
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking more from the perspective of being my future old self.
Okay.
And looking back and thinking, did I take every opportunity that I had? Not I want to be some other woman.
Yeah.
But did I do the best I could with the time and the resources that I had? Did I take care of myself, my family, and my people, as well as running an amazing business?
Very good. Okay, so we're going to skip over to questions.
Cool.
Would you like to select one? Okay,
let's pick one at random. This one. Woo! Okay, I'm going to show the question. So this is sorry.
No, you can read it out. It's just that no one's supposed to know that. Are you on a post-it note? I'm supposed to be professional.
Super professional.
Yeah.
Question cards. So a challenge that I'm currently working to overcome.
Yes.
Oh gosh, there's lots of challenges that I'm always working to overcome. I think I am at a stage in my business where I'm really determined to grow, but I have no idea what that looks like. And even when I first started my business, I always knew I wanted to grow it, and I didn't know what that was going to look like. I just figured I'd figure it out as I was going along. And I've reached this point where I'm not figuring out as I'm going along. I need to work it out on purpose. So my challenge is to kind of sit myself down and think about, what is my 10-year plan? What's my 5-year plan? How am I going to get to these places? Who am I going to hire? Who am I going to trust to take my business on from?
Why does it have to be a 10-year plan? What is your 1-year plan?
Well,
what is your 2-year plan?
We look at the 10-year plan, and then we think, actually, can I do that in 2 years?
Yeah.
That's usually how I do it. Because otherwise, if you think really practically about what you can achieve in 2 years, then your goals are too small. So if you think, 10 years, like me in 10 years, it's a totally different person. You could do totally different things. So I can give her really big, scary, ambitious goals, and that doesn't frighten me. And then I can go, actually, now I've broken that down into steps. It's not scary anymore, and I can do it in 2 years, and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for chatting with me. I'll let you get back to your official duties.
Yes.
Helping out the Business Gateway today.
Holding
and I will nab someone else. Thank you. I'll let you take it. Thank you. Okay. So I have now grabbed our very lovely presenter for today, Would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about you? That would be fantastic.
Absolutely. My name is Zara Janjua. I am a television presenter, reporter, producer, formerly with STV. I do a lot of work now with ITV. Basically what's brought me here today is obviously I'm hosting today, but I am such a big fan of International Women's Day. I always try and come along to these events, and especially ones like this where there are so many amazing women. We've had our first panel discussion and you just see the wealth of stories that they have. You know, I'm working in media, I'm very drawn to people and people's stories, and I think it's so inspirational. We throw these words and band them around, but actually really, really inspiring and actually incredibly motivational, hearing all these women and what they've gone through to build up their businesses, to build up their brands. I feel like coming along to these things, even if you're not involved in business, it is a great way of networking. I'm always on the lookout for people that I can put forward for segments on shows, and for me, it ticks a lot of boxes coming here to meet people like yourself today.
And has there been anything key that's kind of really caught your attention this morning that you've gone, you know what, that really just nails it for me?
I would say, having the First Minister here, this is a flagship Scotland event. Yeah. We're so delighted. She gets invitations to so many events across Scotland, so the fact that she chose to be here to celebrate with us today, and obviously she's introduced a new initiative, which is just amazing, and I think it's great that the Scottish Government are supporting women in business. The Gender Pay Gap Action Plan that she outlined is making waves. It's going to make such a difference to so many of the women that are here today. But I would say, when you have the panel discussions, the first one we had is why do women do good business, and it's great to see that some of those things that we know that we're good at, we know we're good at them. We are great with leadership. We do love working in teams. These are real skill sets that we need to harness, we need to take ownership of, and not see the things that perhaps we don't have, the shortfalls perhaps, as negatives, but really, really look to maybe employ people or have people around us that bring those skill sets to what we do.
Yeah, definitely. I was talking about it the other week actually with one of my another business that we're in an accelerator program, so I was talking about it with another business about the risk aspect. And I was really glad Lynn touched upon it actually, because we've been discussing that one pence in every pound statistic.
Oh yeah.
And I discussed it at another event and said, so what is it? What is it about women that mean that we're not getting as much investment? Are we doing something wrong? I just thought I'd ask the blunt question. And the guy that answered actually went, well, you highlight more risks and you stand there and you go, okay, so this is my amazing business. Here's 10 reasons why you shouldn't invest in it.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice the way that she that across
and said actually back to the selling, being able to sell yourself and sell your business.
Because the way she put that across was, yes, we are more risk aware and we do understand those, and maybe we're a little bit more conservative because we are more risk aware, but we need to be able to have the confidence to say this is a positive, that we know these risks and that we're going to overcome them, not that we've just completely ignored them and gone, our profits are going to go through the roof.
I think she was spot on. Women, we do try and have a much broader aerial view of our plan and what we're doing, and consider as many avenues as possible. So, I think she really hit on an amazing point there. And, Lynn today did a number of myth-busting exercises with us. The fact that we see a lot of women saying that they didn't have the confidence. It's definitely something I've said in my career in the past. I don't have the confidence to do that. How on earth am I going to do it? I'm a little bit of a risk seeker and risk taker though, and so it's always kind of spurred me on to do it. But I do think it is interesting to think that it's not that we are adverse to risk, it's not that we don't have the confidence, it is just how you're framing things. And I think that this today has been amazing for me to see. I can see women networking, I can see women changing, challenging topics and conversations. I just think it's been, for me, what Lynn said about framing is really important, and I do think that all women should think about how you're framing what you do and what your narrative is in life. It's something I tell myself when I'm about to do something really scary or something that I think is I'm out of my depth with, or I'm suffering the imposter syndrome and thinking someone's going to say, why the hell are you here? You shouldn't be here. So the narrative that you tell yourself is really important in life.
It is, definitely. Fantastic. Right, let's turn over, pick a card,
exciting.
See what question it might be.
Ooh. How mindful have you been this week? Well, I didn't actually sleep very well last night. I had about 1.5 hours sleep.
You look amazing.
Thanks, it's an extra layer of makeup. So I took a couple of minutes just before everyone arrived, and I went and sat in the ladies and just did a little bit of meditation. So, it's something I try and do before everything, just to collect my thoughts. Take a wee moment for yourself. I do think it's very important to do that. I've been trying. I think it's something, mindfulness is such a huge benefit, especially in business.
Yeah.
With what I do, sometimes it can be a bit of pressure, and I just find that having that, even just 2 little minutes out, it helps. So I'll give myself a 3 out of 10. That's how mindful I've been this week. 3 out of 10. Lots of room for improvement.
Yeah, I always say the same thing. There's always room for improvement. It doesn't matter how much you try, there's always probably a bit more that you can do. So I set myself a goal of trying to do 10 minutes a day.
No, it's a bit much.
A lot.
In for 2.
Yeah,
for 2.
2 minutes. I like that though. Before you're about to go and do something, take a couple of minutes out.
Yeah.
Because
just say
it
you've
is
got
amazing.
this.
Yeah.
You've got it. You can do it.
Yeah.
Just breathe.
Yeah. Brilliant. So I did take that TED talk. Sometimes I go and do power poses in the bathroom.
Well, power
Before
pose.
I do, yeah.
Which is your favourite power pose?
I think it's just like almost like a jumping jack one, like standing
nice.
and doing the
not like a dab or
arms.
anything.
No,
okay.
I'm not quite.
No, I'm a dabber.
You like dab?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it.
Dabber kids.
Don't even think I know what that is. I'm terrible. I'm not good at that. Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time.
To you.
And,
thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so now I have managed to grab Kirsty from Whisky Frames, who is going to tell us a little bit more about Whisky Frames and what she's up to at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm Kristen Hunter, founder of Whisky Frames. We make beautiful photo frames out of reclaimed Scottish whiskey casks in our workshops just outside of Edinburgh. Right now, I've just become a women ambassador for Women Enterprise Scotland. So it's a very exciting day being here at International Women's Day, representing both my business and Women Enterprise Scotland.
Fantastic. And what does International Women's Day mean for you?
I think it's a time for celebration and looking back at all the women who have made such a great contribution to where we are at today, and also looking towards the future, making good connections and learning a lot about women's businesses throughout Scotland and the world. This morning I went down to Milkman Coffee, and I found a women's roastery that's now, it's called Grind Girls, I think, and so it's an all-women's coffee business, which is traditionally a very male-dominated field as well. So just looking around for ways that we can support each other.
Brilliant.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I know that we've stolen the table, so you're going to have to be quick.
Right, here we go.
Very good question.
Underrated marketing activity. I think it's probably networking, really, because that's a really great place to tell people about your businesses, and then they in turn tell other people, and it just kind of grows organically that way through sort of interacting on Twitter, and you learn other businesses that kind of will meld with yours and that you can do collaborations with. I think it's great.
Brilliant. Well, we're now getting dings, so we'll sit down and we'll catch someone else later. Thank you so much for your time. Okay, so now I have managed to grab the wonderful Alice from Social Bite. So I will let her introduce herself and say a little bit about what she's here for today.
My name's Alice Thompson. I'm co-founder at Social Bite, and I run my own project there now called We Sleep Out. And I'm here today for International Women's Day, and I was lucky enough to be invited to come and speak on one of the panels for the discussion, and it's been an incredible event. There are lots of networking and business events, and this one's very high quality, so I've been really loving the day.
I have to admit, I'm totally jaded. I get to the point where sometimes I'm like, some of the women in business events, I'm like, I just like a mix.
Yeah.
Not necessarily all women, but today is definitely up there. And
today
high
feels
standards.
really motivated, and like people seem to be actually connecting. There's a lot of networking events. I find networking really boring, so I'm really glad you came and asked me to do this, because I'm just really bad at like mingling and speaking to people. I love people, but I just don't want to be vulnerable. So, but this feels really energized, and like it's got a real purpose behind it, and so I'm loving
sometimes it gets to the point. I think some networking groups turn into friends, and it's just friends catching up with each other.
Yeah.
And if you then stumble into one of those networking groups, you sort of are on the outside and go, I'm not in your friend group. I'm going to interrupt your catch up.
Absolutely.
But no, this feels very kind of let's just get out there and rock it. So, it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask you a really annoying pointed question. So you touched on in your panel that Josh got a lot more attention than you. How did that, with it being International Women in Business Day, that's kind of what I kind of instantly thought was, I knew about Social Bite, I'd obviously heard of Josh, I heard about you a little bit later.
Yeah.
In the story.
Yeah.
how did you feel like? Do you feel there was some of that kind of gender bias there as to why Josh got more press coverage? Or?
Well, I think I have to give Josh it's difficult because it's easy for I want to like hang my hat on that.
Yes.
And I think that's part of it, but I think also Josh is like the visionary, incredible forward thinker that he is sort of marketed as or printed as. So I think he always knows. Like whenever someone says, "Oh, we just do things this way," Josh is the guy that's like, "But why?
Yeah.
No, do it differently. Let's do it this way." So I think he deserves all of that exposure. Just to sort of put that out there.
And I realise it's a difficult question because you're still co-founders, isn't it? You don't want to do stuff on
and he's like a really good friend. He's a wonderful example to us all. But I do think that, but I totally agree with what you're saying as well. I think that it happened very early on. There was, I think it was like one of the first pieces of press we were ever in. Some journalist and photographer came in and they asked for the manager in the shop because they were there to do this press thing. And I went, "Oh yeah, you can speak to me," because Josh worked from the office around the corner at the time on the event that we were running, and I kind of ran Social Bite day to day, and that's how we split up our responsibilities.
Yeah.
And they went, "Oh no, I'm looking for like the boss." And I went, "Yeah, hi, you can speak to me, but also I'm like this 22-year-old young girl and I don't have the confidence to tell them I started this business."
Yeah.
And they went, "We're looking for the guy, like the CEO." And I was like, and then Josh walked in the door right at that moment, and they were like, "Oh, right, here he is." And then it doesn't matter the fact that I said that I started the company with Josh. When we spoke to the journalist, they printed me as the shop manager and they printed Josh as the founder. And it started there.
Yeah.
And from there, Josh became this thing. And I remember working in the shops and Josh coming in and showing me these articles where there were these beautiful pictures of him and these amazing sort of personality pieces about him. And it was so amazing for Social Bite, and it was kind of...
Yeah, it's still fantastic coverage. You can't knock it in a sense.
Exactly. And also there was a real sense of there was so much work to be done at Social Bite, and someone really did have to be on the ground and doing that.
Yeah.
And someone had to be going out and trying to meet investors and things. But I do think that the media plays a huge part in that, and I think that because they like to see men succeed and print men's stories more in the mainstream media, I think that he was afforded opportunities and making connections with investors and people who had money that I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I'm only just starting to catch up now, and I credit that to a female deputy CEO, Jane Bruce, who has been working with Social Bite and kind of running the ship for the last few years.
Yeah.
And she's been, in ways that I think she doesn't realize, she really makes me feel empowered. And yeah, she's got like a real flippant, but pragmatic way about her. And she'll go, "Do you think it's that way? Probably is that way then." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, what I think is right." So yeah, I think that's definitely a really prevalent thing. And I'm glad that you're saying that you're starting to see a little bit of me recently. Not because I want to be seen in the public eye, but because it's nice to know that there's a balance.
The balance is coming through.
Yeah, a little, yeah. And that's down to my own confidence as well and putting myself out there.
It's just standing up a bit more.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think sometimes you see press can happen by accident. And it almost felt that role that you're talking about there, that Josh almost by accident became the forefront. And actually you've got to kind of really step forward and go, this probably isn't going to happen by accident for me, so I'm just going to make it.
And I didn't. I stepped back. My confidence really took a battering with that, and I just started to go, well, I don't really have any ideas, and I'm just going to be here running the company. And then I've kind of woken up the last couple of years and gone, I do have ideas, I do have opinions, I do have something to offer. And back in the early days, we used to run an event called the Scottish Business Awards, and we had comedians that would come on stage and ask. I used to stand on the stage and organise the awards, and a comedian, I can't remember, maybe it was Angus Deaton or someone, but he went, "Oh, who are you?" kind of as a joke on stage. And I said, I was all nervous, I didn't know I was going to be spoken to in front of this big group of people. And I went, "Oh, I'm Josh's girlfriend," because I was like, I better not try and step into that place where I'm saying I'm the co-founder of Social Bite, because people will be like, "Who's she?" So I also gave myself that narrative. And it's difficult I'm also quite a private person. I really like my private life. I like to feel like work is removed from me, that I can get away from it. Everyone, I think, these days struggles with mental health. I used to say I struggle with mental health. I think everyone does. It's just waking up and having an awful day or week or month.
Huge thing.
Yeah, and I like to be able to, I want to live in a world where I can shut my phone off and ignore everyone. So I think I was also a little scared of stepping into that and having too much expected of me from everywhere. And I'm starting to realize that I can just do this the way that I want to. So we can do this the way that we want to.
My favourite thing is the airplane mode. airplane mode on my phone, just going, actually, no, I'm just going to turn everything off for a bit.
Mine is on airplane mode as we speak.
I've just realised I've done one of these before with Alison Wood, who is doing, and I've just had a notification come through, so we've now got a little vibrate. I did one of these with Alison Wood, who is doing reusable sanitary towels, setting up a business for that at the moment.
Amazing.
And I'd forgotten to put my phone on airplane mode, so I got 3 phone calls during the interview, and I was just like, oh god, this is terrible. But in general, airplane mode is my favourite, because you can just go, no, you know what, I'm just going to switch off right now.
I'm just going to go be a human being and not have things asked of me.
Or just even like putting an auto response on your email going, actually, I've got work to do right now, so I'm not going to respond straight away.
That's exactly
I'm
what
going to come back later.
Says. Yeah, absolutely. There's ways of doing things, and my inbox has reduced massively the last few years, because my response is basically like, I'm busy working, I'm doing the work rather than sitting in my inbox. When it requires me to be in my inbox, I'll be here and I'll get back to you.
But just, and then it's that, once you've set that expectation, people understand that that's how you're going to work, and it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You make that really important.
And once you set them and stand by them, I think it is having the courage to stand up to your own rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did it the other night, where I'm now just ranting now, but I'm part of the accelerator at RBS, and there was an evening session on, and I've got a 2-year-old as well, so I was like, right, I have to be home to get my son, so I can't go to this session because it starts at 4:30, so I need to leave at 5, blah blah blah, so I won't go. And they went, oh, just come to the beginning bit, and in my head I knew that I shouldn't have gone to it, and so I ended up going to the beginning bit, and then when someone starts talking, I was like, oh god, I can't leave now because he's in the middle of a chat, which then meant I didn't leave until like 5:15, which meant that I got to nursery at like 2 minutes to 6 when everyone was standing outside waiting to just last child standing kind of thing. And you know, when you're like, it's like,
I can't imagine as a mother what that must feel like, but you should know that that is something that they're going to respect about you. That actually makes me feel quite emotional to hear that story.
I need to sometimes remember that I need to stand up for myself.
Is it a son? What's his name?
Harry.
Oh, my brother's called Harry. Harry is going to respect you and look up to you so much because you came and got him last because you were doing stuff.
Okay.
And he's going to expect his girlfriend to do stuff like that because he's going to know that his mum went out and worked. And you still spend the evening with him and he knows that you're there. That's the most important thing.
I feel emotional now. I was feeling bad for like, for needing to know to say no sometimes, but understanding my own boundaries.
Important. Yeah, it is. I started saying no a lot, to the point that coming to this extremely prestigious event with Nicola Sturgeon today, I blanket knowed it, and then Michelle Brown, who does her own PR company, who was trying to ask me, she was like, no, but really seriously, would you come and do it? Oh, okay then. So yeah, I think that's also a really important part of being in business or doing actually anything in life. My friends used to have a nickname for me, Ali McBail, because I used to bail on plans all the time and not turn up. It's not a great way to go about things. You shouldn't just bail on things, but I think actually just what I do now is if I don't want to do something, I just say, no, sorry. Nah, not really my bag. I don't want to go play board games or something. I'm going to hang out on my own.
I'm knackered. You know what I'm going to say? That's fine.
Exactly.
I'm going to move on to questions because I'm conscious I'm taking up your time, but
thank you.
I'm just enjoying chatting.
Yeah, this is lovely.
Right, let's do a mediocre shuffle with one hand.
I like that.
There you go. Pick a card.
Okay. Key learning.
So there's a few different things that we talk about with our cards. There's mental health because it's really important to me. I've had a massive history, and I think it's really important to talk about it and make it something you can talk about. Things that you are learning that when they first happen, you kind of think, oh crap, that was awful. But then actually, after a little bit, you're like, actually, I've got something from that and I'm going to move on from it.
Yeah.
I think that's super important. So it's one of the things that we often
That's great. I think actually what we've been talking about is an example of that. The fact that Josh was kind of the guy that was out there in the press and picked up on more and had more opportunities. That was something I was bitter and resentful about for a long time. Not to Josh, he was always very supportive, but just inwardly, and at the world sort of thing.
Yes.
And then I started realizing, my partner actually started to kind of help me realize that the last couple of years when we were doing big things like Sleep in the Park, when you do something with thousands of people and you do marketing to thousands of people, you're always going to get a few hundred people or some people, I don't know, 10 people or whatever, that don't like what you're doing. And the person that comes under fire is Josh, bless him. And I'll see him the morning after a big thing is happening, how are you doing? And he's like, I was up at 4 a.m. looking at Twitter. I shouldn't have been looking at Twitter. Why was I looking at the comments and all this stuff? And so I think I'm grateful for that now, that I'm able to now, do this the way that I want and connect with the people that are going to be useful, and then just actually start saying no to things. I think Josh is in a more difficult position. I expect a lot more of. He's got a lot of people demanding things. I doubt he puts his phone on airplane mode just to get away for a bit. So I think that's actually something that I've taken away from it. And maybe things happen for a reason, I don't know.
Yeah, you've been able to do it on your own terms.
Yeah.
Fab. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for your time.
Thank you. It's
lovely to chat to you.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be putting this out on stuff later.
You have to tell me where. I'll start following it.
It's all on. It goes on LinkedIn, Twitter, and everything else.
Great.
Yeah, I'll tag you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Had that impact, I know, I remember it.
I have got Lindsay here from Business Gateway, who is part of the Social Enterprise and Growth Programme. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I will just let her say a little bit about what she does and how she supports businesses, and then we will answer one of our questions.
Yeah, so I'm Lindsay Sibbald. I work with Business Gateway in Edinburgh. I specialise in helping start-up and growth social enterprises, so businesses who are thinking about starting a business or already trading. And what we do is we meet clients, we have a chat with them, talk through their business proposal, do some sort of getting the basic business bits right to make sure that the business planning there.
Yep.
And then we also run lots of free workshops that anybody can access through our website, and they can go along from workshops from finance to how to market your business, or how to trade, networking events like today.
Fantastic. And so today is International Women's Day, and you've been on the panel today.
Yes.
How did you find that, and were there any key highlights that you wanted to share today?
I think it's been a fantastic day, International Women's Business Day. In Business Gateway, we noticed there didn't seem to be a lot happening, and we wanted to very much get an event organised. Started it off, and it was the First Minister came to speak. There's been a lot of interest, launching gender pay issues today. Also, for us, we're launching a Gateway to Investment programme, because we've noticed that it's getting a lot better that more females are actually starting businesses. So it's almost parity there, where the big difference is that females find it hard to access support and investment to grow their businesses.
Yeah.
Business Gateway, we do organise an investment programme, and there are females that get on that, but then when they actually attract angel investment, there is less take-up. So that's something we want to address.
Because there was that stat recently, and it's one that anyone if anyone actually religiously watches these videos, I doubt, there was only 1 pence in every pound was invested in women's business or women-founded businesses.
Yes.
So is that programme aiming to help those, or is there more to be done then?
A bit of both, I think. What we're looking for is females with the growth ambition, want to grow their business, but also who want to probably internationalise, take the business to the next stage.
Yeah.
So a lot depends on what stage they're at, but we would welcome applications from everyone, because if we can't get them onto that particular programme, there will be other areas we can definitely help to support them. So it doesn't matter what stage of the business is at. We also run 3 times a year Women in Business specific events on a Saturday in our library networks, and people are free to go along to those, just register online for those as well. But I think interesting for me from a social enterprise point of view is that 67% of businesses have a chief exec as a female. So it's interesting that there is that flexibility.
More purpose then.
Yes.
Yeah. That element of purpose. Because I know there's a trend at the moment, but it's almost being seen in the press as like a fashion to have a purpose.
Yes, it is.
It's a fleeting fashion, and it might end. But
I'm not sure if it's fleeting. I think as long as I said it when I was on the panel today, as long as the basic business plan is there and you're actually delivering quality services or selling products that people want to buy, basic economics, supply and demand, equality, the advantage if you're a social enterprise, some of those profits, you still have to make those profits, but those profits are going to get ploughed in to doing some social good. So you're quite right, it has become a bit of a buzz recently, and I think people do perceive it as being a bit of a catch-all and a saviour. It isn't. It's not an easy option, but it's a good option if it fits your particular business model. So it's always worth coming to speak to us about that.
Okay, fantastic. Right, so we'll move on to questions. I will let you...
An easy one, please.
Well, pick from the heap and see what happens.
Oh, let's go there.
An interesting fact. So some of the stuff that we do, we often do lots of research for our clients. That's one of the first things that we do before anyone that we work with is do lots of research and understand their marketplace. So we often come up with lots of interesting facts. We could probably
About
find
me personally,
or even just it's International Women's Day. If you've got an interesting fact that we've learnt today.
I would think it's consolidated a lot of things that I thought. I'm struggling to find an interesting fact, to be honest, about... That sounds terrible, but I think it's just strengthened my ideas. And you look at now. Actually, I think an interesting fact was probably you noticed there was a slight difference of opinion on the panel today.
Yeah.
With myself and one of the established community interest companies. When I said that in the interest of growing businesses and the wider picture, a specific legal structure wasn't too important, and one of the female panelists felt quite strongly it did. That was her opinion. That was great. But the way we handled that, females, we can agree to differ.
Yeah.
It's not adversarial.
No.
We know each other very well. We've supported each other, and we'll continue to do that. So nothing is taken personally. I think there is a female community that wants to help each other, and that's in the social enterprise world as well. So that's probably quite an interesting fact. I struggled with that one, didn't I?
Well, you've already said quite a few. I could have given 67% women run social enterprises compared to chief exec level, compared to what's the comparison in business?
Do you know? No, we do, but I can't think of the figure off the top of my head. Yeah, it's quite low. I could be wrong, but I don't know why. I've got about 20, either 12 or 20 in my head. I think it's probably lower. Like 12 actually.
Yeah, definitely
we'll
lower.
Check that one out.
Yeah, we'll check it. Yeah.
So many facts to retain.
I know, isn't it? Well, thank you so much for your time.
Not at all.
I will let you go and get a sandwich.
Lovely. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Hello again. So we are now joined by Sudha, who is a champion for women in tech, and does lots of wonderful things in tech. So let's hear a bit more about you and what you do.
My name is Sudha Mani, as you pointed out. My background is in computer science. I champion women in STEM and women in technology and women in business. Basically, that's my passion. I need more people to come into business and technology, and also all science subjects. As this morning the panelists mentioned, we've got those qualities which we need in the business.
Yeah.
The team integrity, loyalty, collaboration, connectiveness, all of that. And I feel that's needed, whether we like it or not. But we are social animals. We need that community. We need that family. So if women is not in the family, that family is not going to be the best family, isn't it? That's my point.
Okay.
I help female entrepreneurs get used to technology, use it effectively, so that they can increase the productivity and also profits.
Fantastic. So what, thinking about it being obviously International Women's Day today, what does that mean for you?
Me being an Indian, part Indian and also Scottish, it makes it a lot more. I came to this country 20 years ago. It gave me a wider perspective. Instead of being in one community, one small community, it gives you the wider perspective of how women can contribute to the community. Not only to the country, not only to the family, but to internationally. So that is one of the things which I take from International Women's Day. And another second thing is women with color, or whatever you say. I see there is a wider gap. It's not just a gender gap. Even in the gender gap, women with color or women in tech are not that much recognized.
Okay. So is it almost like a multiplier?
Yeah, it is a multiplier effect. So I think we need more representation.
Yeah. So not only do you have
someone speak
the
up.
gender barrier, you've got the
diversity,
color,
race.
barrier, everything. Wow. And how do you find that affects you on a day-to-day basis?
It does. Sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't. Well, for an example, I was mentoring a group a couple of weeks ago. It was for under-marginalized and underprivileged group, where we trained them to become tech speakers. It is sad to see that there is not much of representation from women and from other, because I feel there's not visibility of these things happening. The events like this today and First Minister coming and delivering her keynote makes it a lot more visible to the community and also to the other business owners. So that's what it means to me.
Fantastic. Great. Brilliant. I will let you pick a card. Let's answer one of our questions today.
Rant of the week.
Rant of the week. So I always have a rant. Do you have a rant this week?
Oh, I do have a rant this week. Yesterday I had a client call me and said, I don't want to use social media. All of a sudden. 2 weeks ago we had a full coaching session of how to effectively use social media. What are the things you need to put in there? I was like, and then I don't want to use social media because people are calling me all the time. It's like, that is the way for you to do it, not cost effectively, instead of going all the way. It was like, no, I don't want to do social media. I was like, okay, what's your problem? I don't have time.
It is time consuming.
It is time consuming, but you can automate certain tasks.
Yeah.
If I automate, I won't be in touch with people. Okay.
Balance.
That's a balance. But what she said is, I don't want to do a social media is not being in touch with people either.
Yeah.
What she doesn't understand is that, was like, I don't want to lose that touch. I was like, okay, you're not in social media, you're losing touch anyway.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have to say, social media definitely has its place, but I do always kind of counter that it's not the be all and end all.
No, it is not. But at the same time, you've got to use that to leverage.
Yeah.
You came to know about me because I was in the group.
Yeah.
You've never spoken
That's
before.
true. Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's your visibility of someone. Oh yeah, they are doing this.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Getting your visibility, getting known. If you're doing disservice, you're not utilizing all these channels and platforms which are available. This event is one of the fine examples. We are not using the Business Gateway effectively. And the funding we've got as a women business owners, we're not using it.
We could be more effective.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's the key.
Be more effective. I think it's just finding out about it sometimes. I mean, I've sat here and I've been to Business Gateway many times, and there was like 3 or 4 different funds that I heard about that I didn't know existed.
Yes.
And you're like, well, why are we not all on those?
It's because it's also a two-way street. Sometimes these organizations, they've got a very close-knit communication channel, so it doesn't seem to come out. They are getting better at social media now, so it is coming out. Working with public sector before, I know this quite. In order for us to get a press release out, it takes about 4 weeks to get an internal approval. To get it out. So it's not easy. Even the First Minister spoke. She would have got a speech written. There's someone coming and monitoring whether she's saying what's supposed to be saying, and it is lots of scrutiny and red tape and all of that. So
fantastic, great rant.
Use technology. Technology is your friend.
Yes. Balance it though. Always balance it. Okay, so now I am joined by Jill from Meander Clothing. Is it Meander Clothing?
Meander Apparel.
Meander Apparel.
Yeah.
It's close but not quite there. Why don't you tell us a bit about your business and how you got started?
Sure, I'd love to. So basically we're on a mission to simplify the life of commuter cyclists.
So we make clothing that is both stylish and functional, so good for all weather conditions and good for both cycling and being off the bike. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yes, I do remember when I used to cycle more, I had this luminous yellow jacket that then when you go into Tesco's looks a bit odd.
Yeah, exactly. So basically how we started was I was planned a cycle from London to Paris, and I was looking for a jacket in particular. And yes, found that a lot of the bike shops were very full of luminous yellow jackets. Or there were some okay jackets for cycling, but were very expensive and usually specifically for cycling. And I kind of guessed if I was going to spend my money on something that was nice for cycling, I'd also want it to be nice for other occasions. Yeah. So yeah, that was basically where the idea started from there, and then kind of went on.
So how are things going? You said you've been going for a year now, or?
Yeah, around that. Yeah. So we launched the business in May last year. We ran a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo, which was fantastic. One of the most stressful things that I've probably ever done, but also really good because it meant that it was like for 1 month we were taking pre-orders on the jacket, and we went for an all or nothing campaign, which meant if we didn't reach our target, then our company wouldn't be going. So thankfully it did take the full month, but we reached our £15,000 target. We got over that, and we got customer orders from all around the world, as far as like Australia and India, which was really cool. Yeah, and it just gave us the confidence to really start Meander, because we were like, okay, people will purchase our jacket. At the time they were pre-ordering for delivery in December. So it just kind of gave us confidence that there was a demand, other people like us that wanted that kind of thing. So yeah, now we're developing more products. So we've got a much wider range coming out this year that's all kind of, like different things, but in keeping with the same kind of style and function.
And so where are your products for sale at the moment?
So we sell online, mostly online through Meander Apparel. We do have a couple of boutique stores that have reached out to us. So we have one in Sweden and one in the Netherlands.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's
international
really cool.
straight away.
Exactly. And it's cool because they found us through our Instagram. So they were kind of reached out and we're like, oh, we love what you do. So we haven't reached out to any stores, really, because we want to keep a good control of the brand's identity.
Yeah.
A lot of the fashion houses that I worked with prior to starting Meander did the wholesale approach, and my job then was doing the costing, and I could see how much went to the stores and how much it really hikes up your prices. So part of our values, I guess, is to give like really high quality at a fair price. So by selling it through our website, it's not cheap because it's performance, but it's not as expensive as it would cost in car vehicles or something. So
Brilliant. Great. Well, let's. So it's International Women's Day, and obviously we are here because there is an International Women's Day, and you were on the panel this morning as well. So, what does International Women's Day mean for you?
I think it's an opportunity to celebrate women, how we've moved on, I guess, from years ago, and just being part of the panel today and within the room with so many successful women. It's just great to see that, women doing so well. I think we were really supportive of each other, and I think this room today is kind of showing that as well.
It has been a really fantastic event today. There's been lots of building up, building everybody up, and just kind of giving that kind of buzz.
Yeah, I think just hearing how other people are doing as well, it just kind of motivates and inspires you as well. So
it's possible. It is possible. It doesn't feel like it sometimes, but it is. We will get there. So we'll move on. Pick yourself a question.
You have. Okay. Go 3. Third one in. Lucky number.
See what happens. Example of something you've kept simple this week. So because we are Future Simple, we're all about trying to keep things as simple as possible. Whether that's marketing strategy or just kind of strip everything back. Is there something that you might have kept simple? It doesn't have to be
I
this
actually
week,
really like this because our kind of mission is to simplify life for cyclists. But it's also we've been working on our designs for our next collection this week. So we're very much a lot of what we do focuses on the fabrics and the performance, but when we look at a design, it's, I guess, about having quite a minimalist, simplistic approach to it, which, when you want to add in the versatility and like little bits of reflexivity, and it can be tempting to go overboard in a design, but we've had loads of fun this week kind of doing our designs, keeping them quite minimalist, quite simple, and just working on those. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's a great example. I love it when people have got examples for that. A lot of the time people sit there and go, nope, everything's complicated.
Yeah, we're all about, simplifying wardrobes. So also, like, we don't go crazy doing huge collections. It's just kind of like, let's make something that's versatile, that works all day. So,
yeah, I love that.
We like simple.
Too many options, and I'm just like, what? It's like even when I got the new MacBook, and now I used to like the Apple, there was one thing, you just went for it. And then I went in, they were like, well, do you want this version or this version? And I just went, oh, I don't know, which one's better? And then they turned around, once I decided on the actual computer, it was like, what colour do you want it in? I was like, oh my God, it doesn't matter to me. I just need a computer that works. Yes, so I like streamlined is good. Yeah. It works, let's go with it. Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So I have got Celia here from Hey Girls. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you and what Hey Girls do?
Okay, Hey Girls and Hey Boys, if there's anyone listening. So Hey Girls is a social enterprise that was set up to eradicate period poverty in the UK. And we run a buy one, give one enterprise model. So for every product that we sell, either online or in supermarkets or through our retail partners, then we donate the box to a UK woman or girl in need.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it is fantastic. And all our products are plastic free and biodegradable.
Brilliant.
So it's a double whammy, triple whammy, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Environment, support, society. Yeah, ticking all the boxes. And I have to admit, I have been on your website before, and I really liked the explanation of it, of trying to explain what a period is to guys.
Yeah.
That's my favourite bit. I thought that was really funny.
It is really funny, because if you weren't brought up with sisters, probably the first thing you know about periods is when your girlfriend tells you about them. So,
or just goes, not tonight, dear.
Yeah. And actually, we have a duty to inform men what menstruation is all about and how to be an amazing partner. Well, we get asked loads of questions like, why was it okay to say that yesterday, but today she bit my head off?
Yeah.
And lots and lots of questions around product and how can I be super helpful. Mostly it's about when can we have sex. But actually, if you can get them to amazing partners and go and buy the right product, not any old product and that kind of thing. But there's a much deeper part which is around, society is very different now. We've got lots of single dads bringing up daughters. Do they know how to have the period chat? We've got mum and dad at work and grandma and granddad looking after daughters and granddaughters. So if you start your period at your grandparents, who's going to have the chat? And is there something in the bathroom cabinet? So Hey Girls isn't just about selling product and donating product. It's about having the conversation and smashing taboos and just breaking down some of the stigma around menstruation.
Fantastic. And so we are on International Women's Day today, and you were a panel member.
Balance.
International Women's Day. Yes, all about balance. Although, see, my normal thing is that I go, if it's all about balance, why do we keep having women-only events? Hold it in.
Yeah, but with all men, do you not notice all the press?
That did. I was sat there going, every single cameraman around the room is a man. There was one lady, but I think she was actually hired to film the event, not here for press. And I did want to point that out, and then I went, oh no, never mind.
Yeah, where are all the women, creative women? Why were they?
Where were they? Yeah.
And is that about positive discrimination, or is interesting one?
Is it that they were all sat in the room instead?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Let's go on a positive. So what does International Women's Day mean for you?
I think it means so many different things. I suppose this morning has been a room full of fabulously committed, proactive women who are here to have the conversation, but from what I picked up was willing to support other women. And that's, I think that's what International Women's Day is about. It's about making space for women and girls, but actually, all doing this together. And in my little panel bit, I said, on our climb to the top, because everybody in this room is very entrepreneurial, but actually, are you taking women with you, or actually are you climbing on the shoulders of others and batting them out the way as you go there? So there's a real opportunity to grow others and take them on your journey. And build a community and allow others to shine. It doesn't always need to be about you.
Yeah. I think there's definitely a fear factor that actually in business there might be other women around you, but are they pulling you down or bringing you up?
Yeah, are they potential collaborators? So, some of our team go, they're competition. And I say, well, yeah, they are. But they could also be a collaborative partner. So let's reach out.
They might have learnings that we can all learn together.
Share.
Yeah. Fantastic. So, not to take up too much of your time, let's randomly pick a question.
Am I randomly picking?
Yeah, you randomly pick.
I forgot that one there. There you are.
Okay, so how mindful have you been this week? So this is, again, back to the balance question. I've got my general soapbox is about mental health and bringing mental health into conversation and being much more open about the conversation. So the mindful side of things is about that. How do we balance our work and our life, and how are we taking care of ourselves?
I'm very good at giving advice about mindfulness, so I ring everyone. There's only 6 in our team, but I make sure I speak to everybody every day because I'm out and about a lot and find out, are they okay? Find out, is everybody just rushing around being busy? If some people got more capacity to others, can we, say, do you need to do that? Can you get someone else to do that? So I try and check in with them. I also make sure that they take time to switch off.
Yeah.
So when I hear that, I'll just do that over the weekend, I say, will you really? Will you not wait till Monday?
Yeah.
And find out if it is that they need to do it to be able to switch off, then let's have that conversation. But actually, do they would it wait? But I can't do that myself, so I can hand on heart say I have no balance in my life. I work
so you're
7
the champion
days
for everyone else's balance, but not your own.
No, but I keep saying, I'll just get through this.
Yeah.
Just get through March. But I do thrive off that. Mm-hmm. So in a way, I had half a day off. Not last week, the week before. Half a day off, and I was like, half a day off. I think I'll go to IKEA on the busiest day of the week. But it is really hard to just stop. And what I find is when I do stop, I'm ill.
Every time.
Every time.
Yes, I get that as well.
I think you just,
your immune system goes, right, she's ready.
Let's just ruin this little break for her. Let's give her a flu or an ear infection or just something to just knock you out a little bit. Yeah. So I've been picking up leaflets and business cards today from people that do yoga and do life balance and yes. And I know I must.
It's on my to-do list.
Is it?
Will it ever get to the top? Who knows?
My garden is a big relaxing piece for me, but even that is beginning to stress me now because I haven't got time to go in it, and I'm thinking it's nearly spring and all this.
Yes. Do I need to always something to do.
It's very good giving out advice, but very difficult to take.
To do it.
To take that yourself.
Yes. Do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time and your insights. And I will let you get away and get to Women's Hour this afternoon. Pre-record this afternoon. When will it be on?
Goodness. There's so many pre-records, then someone goes, I heard you wasn't ready. Oh, did you go? Which is good. I just think, well, actually, if they want you, you can't say no. Actually, all publicity. And in fact, I have an amazing girlfriend story that I said, I've heard some things going round about me, and she said, oh no, would you like me to send something round? Because any publicity is good publicity. I don't agree with that sentiment. So back to it. It's a great day to be busy, isn't it?
It is, definitely. It's fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so now I am joined by Susan Harkins, who is Head of Business Gateway, Edinburgh, and has put on this amazing event today that we've all been part of, and I've managed to get so many amazing guests out of. So thank you for putting all of these wonderful people in one room that I can chat to. But tell us a bit about you and a bit about what you do.
Okay, so I head up the Business Gateway service here in Edinburgh. I've worked in the Business Gateway network for about 14 years. Started off as a business advisor and then growth advisor, and then naturally progressed into the management. So I manage a team of 15, but I think more exciting is because of Business covers all different sectors. I can really develop my passion for women in business and also for social enterprise. So I very early on in my career within Business Gateway identified a gap in the market for. Do you want to start that?
No, it's okay.
Sorry. For women led businesses. So we started to work with women around dedicated programs for women starting up in business. And at that time, in 2013, there wasn't really a huge highlight, on the issues and barriers for women in business. So we started working with women with a dedicated startup program for women, and also started some networking events. And now Business Gateway Edinburgh, 49% of our startups are women.
Brilliant.
We're probably seeing about 70% of attendees at workshops are women, which is then feeding into the startup. Where we do have an issue though is only 23% of women are accessing our support, our growth support. So we want to do something about that.
Yeah.
So we want to work with women who have that ambition to grow out with the local markets, look at international markets, and access the lots of great support that's out there for women that want to grow their business. So that's really what we're trying to do.
And so tell us a bit more about the new service that you've just launched today.
Yeah, so the new service will we're hoping to work with 40 women, and we'll have two sort of cohorts of 20 this year. We're looking for women that really have got the potential to grow, or the ambition to grow out with the local markets. So what we want to do is we want to work with them over probably about a 6-week period, looking at access to finance, looking at how you grow your network, looking at internationalisation, strategy, all the sort of fundamental aspects of growing your business. And what we want to do is really tap into all the expertise out with the Business Gateway as well, all our partners, and try and help women overcome the barrier. So what we tend to find is that most women will grow their businesses to about 400k, 300k. Sorry to talk in turnover, it's easier to demonstrate. And then that jump from the 400k up just seems to be too much of a jump for women. So I think we hear a lot about risk averse, but I actually think it's not that. I think it's that women understand the risk more. So what tends to happen is women grow their businesses a lot slower because they don't take as much risk because they understand that by doing that what the consequences are. So if that makes sense. So I think what we're going to try and do is work with women that really do want to just scale up the business. So all these words scale up that women don't tend to like quite a lot, but that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to look at the 20 women, and then what we'll do from that is we want to try and create a platform and a sort of platform that we can then start joining up all the women in Edinburgh to create a big network of women that we all know, that we all collaborate, and I think that could be a really powerful
I mean, if the
tool.
people in this room today, if anything stand by, there's a lot of people that were just so willing to just. What collaboration could we have?
Absolutely.
How could we work together? How can we make this better?
And I think the message for me is that Business Gateway is still open for everybody. So we're still wanting people at pre-start level. We're still wanting women who are just starting out in business, who have no ambition to grow. That is fine. That's not, to us, that's not a bad thing. That's a really positive thing. But we're seeing that happening. That's happening now through dedicated support through the ecosystem. And we've got a really good ecosystem here in Edinburgh. But what we're not seeing is that growth. So what we want to do is start paving the way for more women to grow. So if we start with that cohort, if we ask the women that have got that potential, they maybe got the product or the service that could go international or out with the local markets, and work with them to access all the great support that's out there within Scottish Enterprise, with companies like Interface, the universities, we can do that. Business Gateway can do that. So we'll work with the women to do that, to also build their networks, to build their public speaking. So there's lots of different strands that this could come on, but initially what we want to start to do is get more women accessing more of the growth support that's out there, and the only way to do that is to start to inform them, to let them know what they're doing, and also give them that sort of catalyst to realise their potential.
Fantastic.
Not using the confidence word.
I know, it's a funny one.
I was just about to say I'm not sick because I don't believe that that's the issue. I think it's we all have that imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it is. And we might have confidence blips.
But it's not.
We're confident enough in our own selves and in the businesses and the ideas that we have. It's not that we're too scared to go out the door. It's sometimes we'll have blips. Sometimes we'll get knocked back. And what does that mean? And
how do we take those learnings and how do we just access things that we don't know are there necessarily?
So we want to take a cross-section. So today, 150 women here in the room, all listening to First Minister, giving a fantastic, gender pay gap framework. This to me is just, it's amazing if we can address that. But we've got 150 women in the room, all from the business community. And what I really liked about the audience today was a lot of the people here, they weren't corporates, they weren't large businesses. There's a few here, but the majority were just the small business owners who work day in, day out, that juggle everything around, that have all the barriers, and they're running successful businesses. And that was really great that they were here today, and I think they were all really inspired by the speakers.
Definitely. Brilliant. Great. Well, thank you again. Let's pick a random question.
Okay.
Randomly shuffle up. Have a
Okay. Ooh. Right, I probably won't be able to read this, I've not got my glasses. So,
how has your mental health been this week? So one of the things that we're really passionate about is just making mental health more of an open conversation.
Yes, okay. Well, that's a really poignant question for me this week, because my mental health has been okay, but I've been tired and busy, and I've been doing a lot of work because of this event, so I always try. I haven't had much time for rest, and I quite like a lifestyle balance. So I have my husband and my 13-year-old daughter and my cat, who I love. So my sort of, I suppose, guilty pleasure to relax would be, I can usually switch off from work, and I usually do that by watching things like Shetland or Netflix. I'm a big Netflix fan. But my mum has got mental health issues over the years, and this last 2 weeks she's had a sort of really bad mental health episode. Okay. So not so much a breakdown, but really quite near that. So me and my two sisters and my dad have been sort of rallying around to try and help her. So she's 75, very strong woman, but life just gets on top of her, and it's just ran away with her this time. So so while I've been organising the event and looking after my daughter and all the rest of the stuff, we've been having to sort of rally around and make sure mum's okay, and she will be, but it's been tough. So I totally understand. I'm not sure I do understand mental health, because I don't suffer from what I would class, but I've seen it, and it's very hard. It's really hard. So I think the best thing is you've got to recognise it, because what I keep saying to my mum is, you don't have a broken leg, you don't have the flu, and you don't have the chest, so you can't see it. But if you just have a broken leg, then you would be the same. You wouldn't be able to do anything either. So you've got to try and think you've got an illness and it'll get better. Yeah. And that's how we deal with it. Yeah. But I mean, it's a real difficult issue, and it doesn't matter age, where you're from, your background. It's just it can affect everybody, and it's not easy. It's not easy,
and when you're inside it, it feels very different to when you're outside it, or when you're supporting someone else.
I mean, my mum has got two grandchildren, 3 daughters, and my dad's still alive, and we've got extended family, and she's got friends, and we are really strong, close-knit. So we see my mum all the time. She doesn't live that far from us. We include her in everything, and yet she still can. So I think what I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter. It's something that chemical imbalance or whatever.
Thank you so much. That was a fantastic answer.
Yes,
and yes, I will have to get going. But they're packing up around us, which is why there's been quite a bit of noise. But thank you so much. Hopefully today's episode, where we have spoken to a lot of different people, has been useful, and that there's a lot of great insights in there. I've had a fantastic time talking to some really amazing women today, and have a great International Women's Day, if I manage to get this out in time for today. If not, let's call it International Women's Weekend. Why not? Let's just roll it out. Have a great weekend if I don't speak to anyone before then, and I better get going before I get carted into the cupboard.